This video cost me, I think, $250 to produce, and it ended up producing 20,000 US. In the last year, it's close to 7 figures. In Q4 alone, I did 400,000, nearly $500,000 in AdSense revenue.
The question is, how? How does Noah Morris earn up to $200,000 per month on YouTube?
Originally, I found this niche at the channel called Court Cases. The second video got 5 million views. You can also show the earnings. This video cost me, I think, $250 to produce, and it ended up producing 20,000. It's sports, celebrity content, crime-related content, and essentially everything that American people watch. And American audiences just have higher RPMs. So some of these channels, especially in Q4, can get insanely high RPMs. I'm talking sometimes $14 to $15 RPM. Consistent process you have to get a hang of. So I would be every day going on YouTube Incognito and refreshing my homepage, and then pressing on the YouTube Cash Cow content. So YouTube would recommend me more YouTube Cash Cow content, and I would be able to find those new channels getting recommended. So that's one way I teach. Another way would be the keyword method, where I would input random keywords, like let's say basketball. I would go to most viewed and this month, and I would scroll through all the channels. I would actually use vidIQ to essentially look at the subscriber count, and I would look at the amount of views a channel would essentially have. And then when I found a channel that has a bunch of views, small amounts of subscribers, that would probably be a channel that started recently. And if I found multiple channels like that, I'm talking if they're getting above 200,000 views a video, and very, very consistently as well, and there's maybe 2 or 3 of these types of channels that started recently, that's when you find a gap in the market. The topics, I would suggest for your first few topics, try to emulate what the existing channels are doing. So for example, for the Court Cases channel, right? What I was doing is, obviously, I first looked at Courtroom, which is the channel I was emulating. But then I was thinking, okay, other than these topics from Courtroom, see if there's any other older related channels. So in this case, I was researching and I found out he was taking the topics, original topics from the A&E YouTube channel. So I started studying what videos did well in the past on the A&E YouTube channel, and which of those topics haven't been done by my competitors before. And I'll take those topics and put them on my own channels. Obviously, if you look at Court Cases, I even integrated the trend of Jeffrey Dahmer at the time. So you can get very creative with it, as long as your decisions on your channel are always backed by data. Normal YouTubers, they would usually create topics based on feelings. A lot of the times I see that happening, but you really want to make decisions based on data and what did well in the past. People always say, okay, go straight away to the hiring script right there. This is not the case. You can definitely just start a YouTube channel and then eventually turn it into a YouTube automation channel. That's very, very doable. When someone's never done YouTube, I suggest they just start as a regular creator. The downside is very small. You get experience firsthand. I know very well how to video edit. I know very well how to script write. But if you've never done that before and you immediately start hiring, you're very disconnected with your team, right? So script the videos yourself, get an AI voiceover. They're getting really, really good now. And do the video editing yourself until you break even, or you're making a profit. You want to find a team that carries the passion for you. Essentially, you don't only outsource the work, you also outsource the passion. Once you've identified your niche market, your topic, that's when you know who to hire. For scriptwriters, I highly recommend finding someone who is passionate about the subject. I would rather hire a scriptwriter who knows nothing about YouTube retention and who is very, very passionate, than a scriptwriter who is like a retention nerd but knows nothing about, for example, crime, documentaries, or tennis. You need a scriptwriter that matches the target audience before you focus on retention, because retention is something you're able to teach someone, and passion you can teach. So when I search someone for a specific sport, I'll go into a Discord channel that has people who play that sport, and I'll ask, like, is there anyone interested in earning a little bit of money on the side? Or I'll contact people who run a blog about a specific sport. These are really good places to get those scriptwriters from. It doesn't really matter. Just try to find someone, again, that matches or appeals to your target audience. So if it's crime, find deep male voice. If it's gossip content, try to find a high-pitched girl voice. But your video editor doesn't necessarily have to have any affiliation with the niche or content itself. Just make sure they understand retention-based editing very, very well, that they're able to tell stories very well through finding the right clips to use online. start, I usually like to design myself, simply because a lot of thumbnail designers are great designers, but they're not good at understanding what makes an audience click. If you look at the Court Cases YouTube channel and you look at the thumbnails, they're not very complicated, but they got results. You first want to teach yourself, okay, what type of thumbnails do work here? Then once your channel does well, you want to start outsourcing that process. So now you teach the thumbnail designer and you give him inspiration for the thumbnail. He simply does the designing or putting the thumbnail together. The concept you still do. And after a while of working together, maybe a few months, that's when you say, okay, now you do the full process. Now you're in full charge of making sure these videos get teach. The scriptwriter essentially is, I send them all the channels of our competitors. I say, okay, have a look what people are mentioning in the comments, and also look at the relative YouTube retention. If you hover above the YouTube play bar, you see this transparent up and down mountains above the YouTube play bar. That's relative retention. Look at the relative retention and see where the points of interest are in the video. And same thing for the comments. It's like a library of understanding what people are interested in, right? The retention comes from understanding your audience mainly. It's not about like secret editing hacks, not so much. It's about understanding what moves your audience to take action or to comment, to engage, to watch more videos. Studying the target audience in that way would be my biggest retention. December of last year, I think I did around $200,000 in a month in YouTube AdSense. Beginners, I would say it could probably take up to a month for them to get started. But for me personally, it takes about 2 weeks to start up a channel, to get that first video rolling, and maybe to get to that first 1,000 to 10,000 views. I would start seeing a return at video number 12. But let's say the average video cost would be $100. That would cost me like $1,000 to $100 to break even. For beginners, I would say $3,000, $3,500 of videos that are $100. So 35 videos.